how familiar are you with this album?
I'm not super
Styx?
familiar. I do remember Styx. You know, Too Much Time for My Hand. You know.
Yeah, that was actually on this album. Too Much Time on My Hands.
Yeah.
So this is a yeah, this is one of their probably the thing about Styx. I have most of their stuff, and they were one of those bands that, in my opinion, two songs I liked. My opinion is I enjoyed two of their songs, and that's all I really liked on every album, and the rest of it was throwaway stuff. And this was anyway, I liked some of their songs, a few, but this was one of them that actually had more than two that were decent songs on it. And this was I don't know if this was really their first concept album, but this is the one that led up to Kilroy Was Here. And I think Kilroy Was Here was right after this one, if I'm not mistaken. And so, you know, Dennis DeYoung, who was the piano player, him and Tommy Shaw were the two main singers. And Dennis DeYoung, if you know the song "Come Sail Away," he has that classic voice.
Right.
And if you remember the song "Come Sail Away," that's Dennis DeYoung. He had that very, very unique voice. Of course, Tommy Shaw was actually the one that sang the one you just mentioned, "Too Much Time on My Hands," and he was the guitar player. And he had this amazing, crazy amazing voice. I love Tommy Shaw. And I actually used to prefer his singing to Dennis DeYoung, but Dennis DeYoung had this very intense artistic desire to make concept albums where everything kind of revolved around a theme. And this is the first time he really, really pushed it. You know, because they had other albums. If you look at all their stuff like Pieces of Eight and Grand Illusion, Equinox, these other things kind of had these thematic albums. But this is the one where they really had this opening part that kind of played through the album. I think the last track was a refrain from the first track, and it just kind of was this whole piece. And it was about the concept, as I kind of picked it apart, although it's not super clear, was just the life of this theater that was called Paradise Theater, this fictional theater. And if you look at the album, and Steve mentioned this, if you open it up, you have the
grand premiere, the opening,
and then the
close, as
it deteriorated over the years. And they actually have lyrics that reference all of these things. So the first song, The Best of Times, kind of talks a little bit about this idea of the passage of time and what things. And then what's rock? So it starts out AD 1928. That's the first song, and then "Rockin' the Paradise," which is this just killer track. You know, "Rockin' the Paradise tonight." And then as you go through this, then "Too Much Time on My Hands," and then "Snowblind," which was apparently, this is actually sung by James Young, the guitar player, and this is apparently a song, like everybody that ever wrote a song called "Snowblind," which was more than these people, was about cocaine. And then you'd have "Nothing Ever Goes as Planned," "The Best of Times," which is kind of this looking back, and then it ends AD 1958. So this is, once again, this was this concept album of taking you through the life of this theater.
I can't even remember when this came out. Like,
this was early 80s. I'm gonna guess 83, 82, somewhere in that neighborhood. Let's see if we can find it on here. Let's see if I can. But
you know, I don't know
about that.
I mean, for me, again, just the concept out. Like, I was more like, maybe my attention span back then, they didn't diagnose anything like that. You know, but definitely
1980. So it's a little earlier than I thought. 1980.
But I mean,
crazy.
I didn't really get. I mean, this kind of stuff was beyond my. Like, I had friends that were into Styx, and you know, a couple songs. You're My Lady.
But you know, if you were into hard rock in the '70s, there were some tunes like Renegade. The gig is up, the news is out. They finally found me. And what was it? There was a few other tunes that were these pretty hard rockin' tunes that they put out. The "Welcome to the Grand Illusion. Come on in and see what's happening." And then, of course, "Come Sail Away." Remember the song "Come Sail Away"? Yeah. I'm sailing away. But then, that rockin' thing. "Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me." Anyway, I actually loved Styx. 2 songs on every album. But this one was cool because, once again, they're tipping into this thing, and then they went over the top. They put out.
I mean, obviously, they sold tons of.
I think this one sold a couple of million copies. It was really, really big, and when they put out the next one, which was Kilroy Was Here. What was it called? Was that what the album was called? But it was the one that had Mr. Roboto, and that was where they went over the top. They toured on that album, and they basically put a play on.
Yeah.
And where they used to have all these bikers that were into their music because it was kind of the 70s rock.
Right.
Now they show up and they're doing this play. And I remember if you listen to them talk about it, they especially if you listen to Tommy Shaw, he just is so embarrassed by that next album, and he says we're up on stage like dressed in these characters, and anyway, so they actually had brothers in this band too, and John and Chuck. I think I'm having a hard time reading that too. So they were brothers. It was drummer, bass player, and then here's Dennis DeYoung.
Yeah.
Of course, he was not. No. He was originally in the band, but Tommy Shaw wasn't. Tommy Shaw joined after a couple albums. James Young, great guitar player, also sang every once in a while, and then Tommy Shaw. Tommy Shaw went on to do some solo stuff, and he actually, I think Styx still tours with him, but not Dennis Young's long gone.
Yeah, it's one of these like band feud. I own the rights. It's some kind of BS like that.
But what makes this album? Yeah, look at this. They did it. Act 1, Act 2. The players, Dennis DeYoung. Anyway, they treated this like a play, which was the idea here. Now, the thing I love about this album, and every time I find this album in a record store, I buy it. I have owned probably 6 or 7 copies of this album. Matter of fact, I think last time I was in Denver, I found one. This might even be the one that I found in Denver last time.
So why are you buying?
I buy this one because it's super unique. This is one of the most unique albums you will ever see for a reason. And I'm going to show you if you didn't know this, because most people have never seen this before. When people come into the studio, I actually pull this album out frequently and show people this because it's kind of a cool thing that not many people ever did with records. So here's side A, and you'll see they have Act 1, Act 2. They have both sides listed on the front, kind of like the Iron Maiden one, where the back had that.
Right.
The
just the
face.
image. All right.
So they listed all the tracks here. Then you flip it over, and it's the black. Now, why did they do this?
Because they were setting the tone for Spinal Tap.
That's what it was. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but do you see it as I move it?
It's like a dot.
Do you see anything in here?
No, I don't see. It's doing my eyes. Oh, wait. No, there's like imagery.
Yeah.
On the album.
There is actual. You have the gargoyles from the album going up around the side, and then the word Styx etched. Do you see it now?
Now that you say that, yes, I can see it.
It's all etched into the album. So every copy you'll ever buy has that. At least I've never seen one that didn't have that. It's all built. It's all pressed into the album, and I don't know how they do this, but. Every once in a while, you'd find an album where they did this, where they put that, it kind of almost like laser etching into the album itself, where you can see and I don't know if that camera's picking up. If it's not, maybe I'll take another shot of it so people can see it, but it's the coolest thing. And once again, this is why every time I ever find this album, I purchase it because of that. Because it's kind of a cool thing to show people, and actually sometimes I'll give it away as gifts. Thanks for watching this clip from our show. Please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and if you enjoyed this video, I bet you know somebody else who would enjoy it too, so share it with them. Go to our channel right now where you can watch full-length episodes, and thanks for stopping by.